Okay, today we're going to be learning about angle pairs, and there's different names for different types of angles. So this is page 26 in your green book. We're going to go over the definitions and then we're going to do some problems together. So corresponding angle pairs are when you have a straight line crossed by two parallel lines, which is V and W right here, and you have two of the exact same angle. It's on the same side, it's in the same location. So for example, angle number 4 and angle number 8 are corresponding angle pairs. If we were to pick up this line V right here and we were to put it on top of W, 4 and 8, they would be right on top of each other. Okay, they line up, they're on the same side, they're both the top angle on that side, so corresponding angle pairs are in the exact same location on the parallel lines, and corresponding angle pairs are always equal to each other. So if we knew that angle 4 was 77 degrees, then angle 8 would also be 77 degrees. Okay, the next one is vertical angle pairs. And we've talked about vertical angle pairs before, but remember vertical angle pairs are right across from each other, and the two lines in between them can draw an X in between your two numbers. So for example, 1 and 3 would be vertical angle pairs, and then 8 and 6 would be vertical angle pairs. And we know that vertical angle pairs are always equal. All right, moving down. Next we have alternate interior angle pairs. Alternate means opposite or different side. And interior means inside. Okay, so alternate interior means you have angles that are on opposite sides of your straight line right here, which is called a transversal. Okay, so one would be on this side of the transversal and one would be on this side of the transversal. And interior means that they are inside the parallel lines. So the numbers 3, 2, 8, and 5 are inside our parallel lines. So they have to be opposite sides and inside the parallel lines. So we could have 3 and 5. Those are alternate interior angle pairs. Or we could have 2 and 8. Those are alternate interior angle pairs as well. And alternate interior angle pairs add up to 180 degrees. Okay, so if we were to add angle 8 plus angle 2, that would equal 180 degrees. Or if we added angle 3 and angle 5, that would equal 180 degrees. Okay, then we have adjacent. Okay, most of you probably know what the word adjacent means. If you're standing adjacent to someone, you're standing next to them. They're standing at the side of you. Sorry, I'll rewrite that. Okay, so adjacent angle pairs are going to be angles that are right next to each other. Okay, so for example, 1 and 2, these angles are right next to each other. 8 and 5, these angles are right next to each other. And most of our adjacent angle pairs are also going to be on that straight line that we've talked about. They're going to make a supplementary angle, and supplementary angles always add up to 180 degrees. Okay, so that's only if they're on that straight line, but if they're right next to each other and they're on a straight line, they're going to equal 180 degrees if we add them together. Okay, then we have our alternate exterior angle pairs. Remember, alternate means opposite or different side. Exterior means outside. So we're going to be again on the opposite or different sides of the transversal. And then we have to be outside the parallel lines. So opposite and outside, a 4 and a 6. The 4 and the 6 would be alternate exterior angle pairs, or the 1 and the 7 would be alternate exterior angle pairs. These are always equal. So if we know that angle 4 is 58 degrees, then we know that angle 6 is also 58 degrees. And the last definition we need to go over is consecutive interior angle pairs. Consecutive means same side, and remember interior means inside. So we're going to have the same side of the transversal, and inside or interior angle would be like angle 5 and angle 2. So consecutive, we're on the same side of the transversal and inside. 8 and 3 would also be consecutive interior angle pairs, and these are going to add up to 180. So angle 2 and angle 5, they would add up to 180 degrees, and same for angle 8 and angle 3 would add up to 180 degrees. Let's try a few problems on your homework. Your homework is pages 27 to 29. Now on page 27, you just have to identify the pair of angles. So let's look at number 1. If we look at number 1, these two angles labeled X and Y, they're on opposite sides of the transversal. And we know that opposite sides, we call that alternate. So we know it's going to be alternate something. And they're both on the inside of the parallel lines. So inside the parallel lines, we call interior. So this would be alternate interior. Number 4 is going to be vertical angles. Okay, they're right across from each other. You could draw an X in between. And let's look at number 3. These are on the same side and the inside of the parallel line. So same side, we call those consecutive. And inside would be interior. Okay, so you can look at those and determine what angle relationship you see there. Okay, on page 28, you have to identify the relationship. So you're going to say what the relationship is, and then you have to find the measure of the missing angle. So if you forget the relationships, you want to go back to page 26. And remember also when we took our notes, we wrote down whether they were equal, whether they were going to add up to 180. So you can reference that to find your answer. So let's look at number 1. Number 1, these are on opposite sides of the transversal. So remember, we call that alternate. And they're inside the parallel lines. We call that interior. So these are alternate interior angles. And we know that alternate interior angles are going to hold on, I just forgot. See, even your teachers forget.
Alternate interior is the same.
Let's look back here. Oh, I think, you know what? I think I wrote it wrong on here. Alternate interior angles are always equal to each other. So everybody go back and cross this off. Maybe that's why I was confused, because I wrote it wrong the first time. So alternate interior angles are always equal. Let's fix that right now. Okay, so I'm going to say that one more time. Alternate interior angles are always equal to each other. So let's go back now to page 28, alternate interior angles. Here we are. If this one is 78, since they're always equal, then the question mark also has to be 78. They're equal. Sorry if that confused you. Make sure you fix that on your notes. Okay, Then let's go ahead and look at number 8. So number 8, these two angles are right next to each other, and when something's right next to something else, we call it adjacent. These are adjacent angles, and because they're on a straight line, they're supplementary, and they add up to 180. So we would do question mark plus 56 equals 180. Then we subtract 56, and we get 180 minus 56 is 124. So this question mark right here is 124 degrees. Okay, let's turn over to page 29. Okay, you're going to be doing the same thing on page 29. So you're identifying the relationship and you're finding the value of x. These ones are just a little bit more complicated. You're going to have to do a two-step equation to solve for x. So I'll do one or two of these with you. On number 9, notice these angles are in the exact same spots, right? If I were to pick up this line and set it on top of the other line, they would be in the exact same spot. So we call those corresponding angles. And corresponding angles are always equal. So we know that 59 is going to equal 15x minus 1. So here's our two-step equation. We add 1 on both sides. 60 equals 15x. Then we divide by 15, and x equals 4. Okay, let's do number 10. So these are on the same side, and they're on the inside of the parallel lines. So remember, we call that consecutive interior. And consecutive interior angles add up to 180 degrees. So 7x plus 7 plus 13x minus 7, if we put those all together, equals 180. 7x and 13x, that's going to give us 20x, and then we have a plus 7 and a minus 7. 7 minus 7 is just going to be 0, so those integers actually cancel each other out, and we just have 20x equals 180. We divide by 20 on both sides, and x equals 9.